Question 31. A workflow must decide, per request, whether to answer directly or to first fetch supporting documents and then combine them. Which pattern describes this behavior? A. Static templating. B. Retrieval augmented generation. C. Batch scoring. D. Content moderation. Pause the video if you don't want the answer yet. Correct answer, B. Retrieval augmented generation. Why B is correct? The workflow must decide whether to answer directly when it already has sufficient information, retrieve supporting documents first when additional grounding is needed, combine the retrieved information with model reasoning to generate the final answer. Question 32. A team must classify millions of short product reviews into fixed categories every day, and cost at that volume is a dominant concern while accuracy needs are modest. Which model choice is most economical for the workload? A. A small language model for the classification task. B. A multimodal model per review. C. A frontier reasoning model per review. D. A text-to-video model. Pause the video if you don't want the answer yet. Correct answer, A. A small language model for the classification task. Why A is correct? The scenario highlights millions of reviews per day, fixed classification categories, cost is the dominant concern, accuracy requirements are modest, narrow repetitive task. A small language model, SLM, is the most economical choice because it provides lower inference costs, lower latency, higher throughput, sufficient accuracy for simple classification tasks. Examples include sentiment classification, product categorization, intent detection, spam detection, review classification. Using a larger, more capable model would increase cost substantially without meaningful benefits for a straightforward classification workload. Question 33. A team already gets good answers with prompting, but wants the model to consistently adopt a very specific proprietary writing style baked in, with no source documents to retrieve. Which approach fits this need best? A. Retrieval augmentation. B. A larger content filter. C. Fine-tuning the model. D. A private endpoint. Pause the video if you don't want the answer yet. Correct answer, C. Fine-tuning the model. Why C is correct? The key clues are the team already gets good answers with prompting. They want a very specific proprietary writing style. The style should be consistently baked into the model. There are no source documents to retrieve. This is exactly the type of problem that fine-tuning solves. Fine-tuning is used when you want the model to consistently exhibit a particular behavior, tone, format, vocabulary, or writing style learned from many examples. These examples include legal writing style, brand-specific marketing voice, internal documentation standards, proprietary report formats, consistent response structures. Since the challenge is behavior, style, not knowledge retrieval, fine-tuning is the best fit. Question 34. An accessibility feature must produce descriptive text of uploaded photos for screen reader users. Which capability generates these descriptions? A. A re-ranker. B. An embedding model. C. A multimodal model producing image descriptions, alt text. D. A speech-to-text model. Pause the video if you don't want the answer yet. Correct answer, C. A multimodal model producing image descriptions, alt text. Why C is correct? The requirement is user uploads a photo, accessibility support for screen reader users, generate a description of what's in the image. This is known as image captioning or alt text generation. Question 35. A pipeline must extract many visual characteristics from complex documents in a single richer pass rather than one narrow attribute at a time. Which content understanding mode fits? A. Pro mode multi-aspect analysis. B. A block list. C. Single task extraction. D. A translation flow. Pause the video if you don't want the answer yet. Correct answer, A. Pro mode multi-aspect analysis. Why A is correct? The key clues are complex documents, many visual characteristics, one richer pass, not one attribute at a time. Pro mode multi-aspect analysis is designed to extract and analyze multiple characteristics simultaneously from content, producing a richer structured understanding in a single workflow. This is ideal when you want to identify numerous features such as layout elements, visual structures, document components, multiple metadata fields, relationships across content. Rather than running several separate extraction tasks, Pro mode performs broader analysis in one pass. Question 36. A contact center's transcription of specialized medical jargon is inaccurate with the base speech model. Which option improves recognition of the domain's vocabulary? A. An image generation model. B. A custom speech model trained on domain audio terms. C. A larger content filter. D. A cost budget. Pause the video if you don't want the answer yet. Correct answer, B. A custom speech model trained on domain audio terms. Why B is correct? The problem is that the speech system is struggling with specialized medical terminology. Examples: drug names, medical procedures, anatomical terms, clinical abbreviations. A custom speech model can be adapted using domain-specific vocabulary, transcripts, and audio samples so that it better recognizes specialized language used in healthcare environments. Benefits include improved transcription accuracy, better recognition of medical jargon, fewer errors on uncommon terminology, and better performance for contact center recordings. Question 37. A legal team needs translated contracts to consistently render defined terms the same way every time using an approved glossary. Which capability supports enforced terminology? A. An embedding model. B. An LLM with a free-form translate prompt. C. A re-ranker. D. Azure AI translator with a custom glossary. Pause the video if you don't want the answer yet. Correct answer, D. Azure AI translator with a custom glossary. Why D is correct? The key requirements are translate legal contracts, use approved terminology, ensure defined terms are translated consistently, and enforce the same translation every time. Azure AI Translator supports custom glossaries, dictionaries, allowing organizations to specify preferred translations for terms, phrases, brand names, legal definitions, and industry-specific vocabulary. Question 38. An agent's context keeps growing until it exceeds limits during long conversations. Which memory technique keeps essential history while staying within bounds? A. Sending the full transcript every time. B. Summarizing older terms into a compact memory. C. Disabling memory entirely. D. Increasing temperature. Pause the video if you don't want the answer yet. Correct answer, B. Summarizing older terms into a compact memory. Why B is correct? The issue is that the conversation history is getting too large and exceeding the model's context limits. The best technique is to summarize older conversation turns into a compact memory while keeping the most important facts, decisions, preferences, and task progress. Microsoft Agent Framework describes this type of approach as compaction, where older conversation history is reduced, collapsed, or summarized while preserving important context so long-running agents can continue without exceeding context windows. Question 39. A team must let an agent call an internal microservice that has no published spec, using a small custom wrapper they write. Which tool integration style fits? A. Registering an open API spec. B. A custom function tool the developer implements. C. A content block list. D. A DDoS plan. Pause the video if you don't want the answer yet. Correct answer, B. A custom function tool the developer implements. Why B is correct? The scenario says the internal microservice does not have a published open API specification. The team can write a small wrapper. The agent needs to call the service as a tool. In this case, the best approach is to create a custom function tool that wraps the microservice and exposes it to the agent. Agents can use custom tools to invoke internal APIs, services, databases, or business logic that are not already described by a standard interface. Question 40. A team wants repeated identical prompts, like a fixed system preamble, to be served more cheaply and quickly on subsequent calls. Which capability reduces cost for repeated context? A. A re-ranker. B. Prompt and response caching of repeated content. C. A larger embedding model. D. A private endpoint. Pause the video if you don't want the answer yet. Correct answer, B. Prompt and response caching of repeated content. Why B is correct? This scenario describes repeated identical prompts, a fixed system prompt or preamble, desire for lower cost, desire for faster responses. Prompt caching, sometimes called context caching, allows frequently reused content to be cached so the model doesn't need to fully reprocess the same tokens on every request. Some benefits include reduced token processing cost, lower latency, faster repeated requests, and more efficient use of large static context, system prompts, instructions, reference material. If this was successful, please like and subscribe so that you get notified when I've released new questions.